Retirement is something most couples dream about enjoying together. You imagine traveling, spending more time with family, maybe even waking up without an alarm clock together. But here's the problem. Retiring at the exact same time as your spouse, it might sound romantic, but for many couples, it ends up creating unnecessary stress, financially, emotionally, and even socially. I've seen this firsthand with couples who were well prepared on paper, but quickly found that the timing of retirement matters just as much as the dollars. Hi, I'm David Hike, financial advisor at DMH Financial Solutions. And in today's video, we're going to walk through why retiring at the same time as your spouse may actually be a mistake, and how staggering your retirement dates could preserve your finances, your lifestyle, and even your relationship. Let's dive in. Part 1, the financial pitfalls of dual retirement. Let's start with what often gets overlooked. When both spouses retire at the same time, you're not just celebrating a new chapter, you're also doubling the financial pressure on your portfolio starting day one. Here's what that means. Two incomes stop at once. Two people start drawing from savings. Expenses often stay the same or even increase due to more free time and lifestyle changes. And you lose flexibility around Social Security, health insurance, and taxes. This puts your retirement strategy into high gear, potentially before it's fully ready. Retiring together feels like a team decision, but it's often a financial strain that can be avoided with just a little of intentional timing. And when you consider that one spouse continuing to work might only need to cover a few more years, possibly in a part-time or consulting role, it can become much more manageable. So before you decide to walk out of work hand in hand, ask yourself, are you financially giving yourselves the best possible start to retirement? Or are you rushing into it for the sake of symmetry? In the next part, we'll talk about how retiring at the same time can also challenge your relationship in ways many couples don't expect. Part 2, the social and psychological side no one talks about. Most retirement planning focuses on numbers, but an often overlooked risk of retiring at the same time as your spouse has nothing to do with income or investments. It has to do with lifestyle. Here's the reality. When you both stop working at the same time, you suddenly go from busy, structured days to a completely open schedule together. That might sound appealing in theory, but in practice, it can be surprisingly stressful. Why? Because many couples don't have a plan for what everyday life will actually look like in retirement. Here are a few questions I encourage clients to ask before making the decision to retire at the same time. How do we each want to spend our time in retirement? Are our social circles and interests overlapping or totally separate? What structure do we need to feel productive and fulfilled? This matters because work doesn't just provide income, it provides rhythm, purpose, and often social interaction. When that disappears, it leaves a gap that needs to be filled intentionally. Retirement is a major life change, emotionally as well as financially. And when both partners go through it at the exact same time, it can be overwhelming. Staggering retirements, even by a year or two, can create space to adapt more gently, build routines gradually, and preserve not just your finances, but your relationship. Part 3, the benefits of staggering retirement. Now that we've talked about the financial and emotional strain that can come from retiring at the same time, let's look at the alternative. What if one of you retires first and the other continues working? On paper, it might not sound as appealing. One person home while the other's still commuting. But in practice, this staggering approach can create more flexibility, reduce stress, and extend your financial confidence in a powerful way. Let's break it down. 1. Income and health benefits continue when one spouse continues working, even part-time. You're still bringing in earned income. That income can delay withdrawals from your retirement accounts, potentially allow your investments to grow a bit longer, reduce the amount of Social Security you need to rely on early, and just as importantly, keep your health insurance in place if it's through an employer. That one factor alone, continuing access to employer-sponsored health care, can save you thousands in out-of-pocket premiums before Medicare eligibility kicks in. 2. You create a smoother transition when one person retires first. You naturally create a trial phase. This gives you the chance to figure out what daily routines feel sustainable, how much you actually spend when one person is home full time, what parts of your lifestyle need adjustment. 3. It reduces tax burden strategically. If one spouse is still earning income, you can make more strategic decisions about when and how to withdraw from retirement accounts. For example, you might delay required minimum distributions. You can spread out Roth conversions across multiple years to help stay in a lower bracket. You may avoid the tax spike that sometimes happens when both spouses retire, turn on Social Security, and begin RMDs all around the same time. In short, staggered retirement gives you more levers to pull, and that kind of flexibility is often the difference between a retirement that just works and one that feels free. 4. It builds confidence, not just for you, but for your spouse. When both of you retire together, any uncertainty is doubled. But if one of you retires and it goes well, the second partner enters retirement with confidence, no doubt. And that mindset matters. I've seen it firsthand. One spouse retires and it reassures the other that the finances are solid. The lifestyle is enjoyable. The emotional adjustment is manageable. That's incredibly valuable, especially if one person is more risk averse or emotionally attached to their work identity. Retiring together sounds nice, but staggering retirement is often the more strategic, sustainable path. It helps to preserve your finances. It gives you more options, and it can ease the emotional transition for both of you. In the next part, we'll wrap it all up and talk about how you can make the right decision for your unique situation with the right plan in place. Part 4. Timing is a strategic lever. If there's one key idea I hope you take away from this, it's this. The timing of retirement is one of the most powerful planning tools couples have. Not just when to retire, but how you stagger it, structure it, and sequence it. Too often, retirement timing gets treated like a sentimental decision. We'll leave our jobs on the same day. It'll be symbolic. But when I run the numbers with clients and we factor in income needs, tax planning, healthcare costs, and longevity, retiring together often makes less sense than you'd expect. Because here's the truth. Retiring together can compress your financial cushion. It can remove flexibility from your tax plan, and it can add pressure to your relationship at a time when you should be enjoying more freedom, not friction. By staggering your retirements, even by just 1 to 3 years, you open the door to more income stability, lower withdrawal rates early on, delayed, higher Social Security benefits, more thoughtful adjustment to a new rhythm of life. This is where real retirement planning makes a difference. It's not just about knowing if you can afford to retire. It's about designing a retirement that you and your spouse can actually enjoy, financially and emotionally. And you don't need to make these decisions alone. So, if you and your spouse are starting to think seriously about retirement, whether it's next year or 5 years from now, take this as your sign to pause, because retiring isn't just about the date you stop working. It's about the income you'll need, the lifestyle you'll want, and the flexibility you give yourselves by thinking strategically, not just sentimentally. If you've worked hard to build up your savings, you deserve a retirement plan that works just as hard for you. And the decision to retire at the same time, it might feel like the natural thing to do, but in many cases, it could cost you time, money, or confidence. That's why I help couples walk through this exact conversation. So you're not just guessing, you're planning, and you're doing it with clarity. If you'd like help evaluating your own timeline, I invite you to book a consultation with me. Just click the link in the description below to schedule your free call. We'll look at your current situation, run the numbers, and walk through what staggered retirement might look like for you and how to make it work. Thanks for watching. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more retirement planning insights right here. I'll see you in the next video.